It is exactly 9 p.m. Good evening. This is NTV Weekend Edition, and we'll get right into our news tonight with a look at the stories making headlines.
And we invested 34 billion, which represented 100 million shares.
NSSF probe starts, fund managers on the spot over alleged mismanagement.
Two midsections of two separate big supermarkets closed down in a space of 2 weeks. Tonight, I am Sheila Nduhuchire to tell you whether or not we're losing the ball in the fight against meat contamination and preservation in this country.
Today, the Catholic Church celebrates the Feast of the Assumption, a day it is believed that the Virgin Mary went to heaven, body and soul. Join me, Gertrude Tumusime Uitkware, as I tell you more about the myths Catholics have about this day.
You are watching NTV Weekend Edition.
Good evening once again. Welcome to NTV Weekend Edition. I am Rukshana Namuimba. In a top story tonight, the Parliamentary Select Committee tasked to investigate mismanagement in the National Social Security Fund has opened up its sittings by questioning senior officials of the fund. The committee was set up following allegations by Aru MP Odonga Oto, who claimed that NSSF irregularly bought the shares of power distributor Umeme, causing financial loss to workers who save with the fund. Preliminary evidence tabled before the committee indicates that the Solicitor General and the Minister of Finance declined to approve the share purchase, but NSSF management went ahead nonetheless. Francis Jingo has that report.
After about 5 years of a lull, the ghost of the mismanagement of funds seemed to have returned to haunt NSSF. Parliament has opened a new investigation on the pension fund. First in the hot seat before the Select Committee were senior NSSF managers led by Acting Managing Director Geraldine Salibusurwa. When the national power distributors Umeme floated shares on the stock exchange during its initial public offer, NSSF quickly moved in to make money.
And we invested 34 billion, which represented 100 million shares. And that increased our original holding from 8.1% to about 14.3%.
No sooner had the grilling begun than acting MD Geraldine Sali appeared tense and uneasy. The probe committee chaired by Kalungu East MP Vincent Bamulanga Kisempija ordered in NSSF managers to submit documents on the purchase of Umeme shares.
That NSSF irregularly acquired shares in Umeme.
It emerged in the proceedings that the Solicitor General was uncomfortable in endorsing NSSF plans right from the first purchase of Umeme shares.
Before they went to request for authority and permission and clearance from his office, they had already acquired the shares, and therefore going to his office was not only a mere formality. The Solicitor General was warning NSSF as pertaining their intentions of acquiring shares in Umeme.
The committee also heard that the NSSF board disagreed on the investment plan, but board chairman Ivan Chayonka used his discretion powers to approve Umeme shares purchase even when the Minister of Finance Maria Chiwanuka declined to endorse the deal.
By 4 o'clock, 5 of the members had come back and said they were not for the investment, and 5 were for the investment by 4 o'clock.
Their reasoning is that they had got, there was a new law, the UBRA Act. UBRA is Uganda Retirement Benefits. Therefore, it is superseded the other laws. So they used that one to do what they did.
A letter was written to the minister on the same, but she subsequently responded declining to give an approval.
But the NSSF manager said the purchase was a profitable investment, which earned the fund over 70 billion shillings.
I would like to say that we have invested 70 billion in this concession. We have now so far made dividends of about 6.9 billion, which is about 7 billion.
Unending troubles of NSSF, from the Temangalo scandal They are back in Parliament to face the music over the mismanagement of the workers' money. Jingo Francis, NTV, Parliament.
Thank you, Francis. Now, a cleaner at a clinic in Busia district has been arrested following the death of a 2-year-old child. He is suspected to have given a drug overdose. The man allegedly convinced the child's mother that he was the resident doctor, and the mother allowed him to treat the boy, who was down with a fever and stomachache. The suspect is being held at Busia police station.
When her child fell sick with a high temperature, Susan Alport rushed the 2-year-old son to Cares Medical Center in Busia to seek treatment. But alas, she never knew that the health center would turn out to be a death trap. A cleaner at the facility allegedly convinced her that he was a doctor and administered an overdose of quinine to the child. It's believed this drug ended the boy's life. The mother explained that she saw her son die as the drug overdose took a toll on him.
Malisa kama mtoto machana naongeza dawa kwa maji hiyo, naongeza dawa na anameleta sindani 3 hivi, naongeza dawa kwa juu. Kwa hiyo juu ya maji hiyo naongeza dawa. Amesha tena kupiga mtoto quinine. Amesha kupiga mtoto dawa nyingine. Nenda kuona mtoto nakuja maji nakuja sipidi kwa mtoto.
The resident doctor was not at the health center at the time of the incident, but the accused denies any wrongdoing.
I just advise her that you find a way of taking this child somewhere else or else to throw, because the way I was seeing the child was as if lacking blood.
Police later found that the clinic was even operating illegally since its operational license expired in December last year.
It's not a place really for admission, and even their license had expired.
Residents say many people prefer private clinics to government health centers for what they say are much better services.
A rather tragic incident there that could have perhaps been avoided. Now, the Minister in charge of Primary Health Care, Sarah Acheng Opendi, has advised children to report cases of molestation and those who assault them, adding that the government will not tolerate sodomy. Reports indicate that violence against children is decreasing over time thanks to the intervention of government, international bodies and civil society.
Me, when I grow, I want to be a doctor and help those one who are poor and those who are not poor.
So young and innocent, their lives so full of dreams. Those dreams could be shattered by just one incident of violence, and this includes sexual abuse.
Do not keep quiet. If the teachers abuse you, please report. Report those who sodomize you. We shall not tolerate homosexuals, promotion of homosexuality amongst our children.
The minister was officiating at this year's National Day of Prayer and Action for Children under the theme Zero Violence Against Children in Schools, held in Kampala.
Give a lot of energy, wisdom and encouragement to our members of Parliament so that as they deliberate on important issues, they deliberate important issues for our children.
Children from various parts of the country spoke of anxieties they experience on an almost daily basis.
At home, when the father drinks alcohol, he may go to the bar in the morning. When he comes at night, he will just start beating children.
Some teachers, like men, they do what they defile children in most schools.
Recent records, however, indicate a reduction in the violence against children.
The children, as before, it was 42% being violated, their freedom was being violated. But as per now we speak, because that was some 2 years back, but as per now we speak, it is 67.4%, their freedom has increased.
Today's was the 4th annual National Day of Prayer and Action for Children. Ernest Wisdom Chionga, NTV Weekend Edition.
Now, what appears to be a balding young boy in that report is actually a young boy who partially shaved his head to get into character for a role play during the prayers today. Now, Kampala Capital City Authority finds itself accused of double standards as its enforcement officers closed the meat section of the supermarket chain Shoprite in Nalia for selling meat that had gone bad to consumers. As Sheila Nduhuchire reports, the crackdown also sheds light on the gaps in enforcement that are putting the lives of several consumers at risk. And it is on this subject that we engage you tonight to share your thoughts on food hygiene standards in public retail outlets. To have your say, text 6565 followed by your name and your location, and stay tuned for your comments both during and at the end of tonight's newscast. That discussion is ongoing on Facebook and Twitter. Now we will take a short break, but when we return, Jasprit Chatte seizes day one in a wet start to the Pearl of Africa rally, and your weekly dose of laughter with Agnes Nandutu in Point Blank. Jasprit Chatte seizes day one in a wet start to the Pearl of Africa rally. And your weekly dose of laughter with Agnes Nandutu in Point Blank. And edition continues shortly.
You are watching NTV Weekend Edition. Experience the joys of learning.
When I write, it's bright with Big Fair.
Simply the best. Over the years, my NSSF has had some good days and some difficult ones. But through it all, they have persevered to achieve some major milestones. They have given me better tools to take control of my future. Doing better is what they stand for. They made a promise to me and they are keeping it. My NSSF listens when I speak. I feel more connected to my NSSF because they put me first, and I'm confident I will be paid all of my savings. I also know my savings are secure and are being invested in the best way possible, which means that I get the best interest on my savings to turn my dreams and ambitions into reality. I don't mean to brag, but my NSSF is pioneering some of the greatest ideas our nation has ever seen. But what makes me really proud is that my NSSF is supporting those making a difference in my community. So how is this important to me? Simple. It's the comfort of knowing my NSSF is doing better for me today than ever before to give me a better future.
NSSF, a better future.
Dad, you said we could paint today.
No, you actually remind me of myself. When I was your age, I actually asked my dad the same thing. I want you to remember two things: trust and quality. So you see, there can only be one choice.
Sadolin, color your world.
Trusted and admired for generations.
The Mirinda Miss Teen Star Grand Finale is here. Come and see who the brightest star this year will be. Who will take the crown? Will she be from the east, the west, or the central? Mirinda Miss Teen will be on Saturday, 16th of August at Kati Kati Grounds from 10 a.m. A lot is lined up: performances, prizes to win, and a crazy dance party. So be there. The entrance is only $5K, and that comes with a free Mirinda. Mirinda Miss Teen Star is proudly brought to you by Mirinda. Free your fun side.
Standard Chartered. Here for good. You are watching NTV Weekend Edition.
Welcome back. Now, Uganda Revenue Authority has accused a city businessman known as Sulaiman Mbuga of failing to pay taxes amounting to 219 million Uganda shillings. The tax body also accuses Mbuga of issuing it with a fake check.
Security personnel attached to Uganda Revenue Authority surrounded Mbuga's residence in Bunga, the suburb of Kampala, after he was accused of failing to pay taxes amounting to 219 million Uganda shillings. According to URA officials, Mbuga was approached on several occasions to declare his income as required by law, but he kept stalling. The mission to Mbuga's residence was meant to seize his 4 luxurious Hummers, but it flopped as he had already been tipped off and the cars were not in the usual parking place.
This liability arose out of income tax. We notified Mr. Mbuga, but his known address and contacts were not easily verifiable. So we tried to even publish his name in the newspapers, and he appeared on the list of defaulters we published in June. We advised him to come to our offices so we can negotiate and agree on a way forward. He did not turn up.
The head of URA's debt collection department, Abdusalam Waiswa, says Mbuga failed to declare his income to the tax body, and basing on the assets that he has, URA estimates he owes 219 million shillings. URA is also accusing Mbuga of issuing them with a false check of 100 million shillings last evening. In response, the businessman says the check was good, but he went to the bank and cancelled it following advice from his lawyer.
He gave us 2 checks to cover the whole tax liability. Now we have banked those checks, they have bounced.
Bwe namaze okusayinga check nenkubira kanso wange nangamba kera kumacha ogendo stopping check ezo mu banka era nakedde kumacha mu bank.
Mbuga says he owes URA nothing because all the cars that he imports in the country are cleared.
Nze bwe ndeeta ekintu oba ndeese emmotoka nsasula guideline bwe baŋŋamba nti ssente bwezi ze zirina okusasulwa zonna nsasula nga bwe baba baziŋŋambye kati ate ezo ssente ze bagamba ze bammanja sizitegeera.
URA has conducted a number of operations in the recent past in a bid to recover taxes from a number of businessmen in the city. Aaron Mukama, NTV.
Now, a group of 50 youthful Ugandans from across the country have been enrolled in a youth leadership academy that is designed to equip them with skills that its founders believe will enable them transform the country once they graduate. The academy, founded by the Uganda Youth Network, was launched by the Minister for General Duties, Professor Tarsis Kawejere, along with the US Ambassador and the British High Commissioner.
We are committed to supporting partners such as the Uganda Youth Network and many others who are working to ensure that young women and men are aware of their rights and responsibilities.
Through the Leadership Academy and our other efforts, the United States seeks to bolster the skills of men and women who are committed to the idea that political parties and institutions should represent citizens' interests, not personal agendas. We believe that leaders should be able to offer a vision that is founded on sound policies, not on sound bites.
I thank the Uganda Youth Network, YouthNet, for inviting Uganda government to officiate at this launch of the Leadership Academy. And not surprisingly, the youth can still talk even when a big statement is being made. I have the pleasure to launch the Leadership 2014 Academy.
I would wish to contest for a parliamentary position probably in 2016.
Politics is commercialized. So we want to change that. And Museveni is not going to change this. And the NRM leadership is not going to change this. The current top leadership, because they are almost concluding their time.
And we do hope that with this new academy, lots of things can be corrected.
Now we return to our earlier report where Kampala Capital City Authority finds itself accused of double standards as its enforcement officers closed the meat section of the supermarket chain Shoprite in Nalia for selling meat that had gone bad to consumers. As Sheila Nduhuchire reports, the crackdown also sheds light on the gaps in the enforcement that are putting the lives of several consumers at risk.
Issa Semfuma, a butcher in Bugolobi Market, has been at this trade for some years now. Like other butchers, he picks his beef from the city abattoir, where it is checked to see that it meets the required standards. Issa knows that he could face the full force of the law should he be caught selling meat that has not been inspected. Still, a rising elite clientele yearning for beef from more sanitary conditions are turning to supermarket chains. But what happens if the large supermarket chains get it wrong?
Temulina busobozi bukuuma nnyama nga nnyogovu mu bungi bwayo mukendeezeeko mube nga mutwala ennyama ekigere ekinaakola ki kinaggwawo kuba.
Many of these traders believe that enforcement officers often go soft on larger targets, a thing Kampala Capital City Authority dismisses.
Ffe tulaba nti mu supermarket tegezezzaako okufuukuza bintu ebyo.
I'm very sure that we are the first organization that has actually gone to these big dogs supermarkets and actually impounded chicken and removed it off the shelf.
Shoprite Nalia is currently in the eye of the storm for selling contaminated meat, and its beef section has since been shut. Shoprite has so far responded by vowing to get to the bottom of the incident, saying Shoprite views the meat seizure in a serious light and have done a full investigation to ensure that food quality and safety standards are upheld in the store. We do not compromise on customers' health and safety. Corrective action has been taken. KCCA Deputy Spokesperson Robert Kalumba admits knowledge that some supermarkets are backdating the expiry dates of the products on display to confuse customers.
We have also received reports that there are some supermarkets who erase the expiry date of their products, and we are going to investigate that matter.
This is further complicated by the rising tastes of consumers, not armed with information to make better choices.
Now, to have cases of meat that is not fit for consumption in supermarkets, which are the go-to shops, it is a danger to the human being and the general Ugandans.
I wonder what it was like for the previous years. If KCCA hadn't actually gone to inspect those places, I still think maybe they would have served the meat if they did anyway.
The city authority says it has mostly been able to move on some of the supermarkets because of tips from consumers. I have been required to dress like this so that I do not contaminate the meat. Now, of course, the issue of meat contamination affects all of us. How well do you trust your source, where you buy that meat from? And of course, it is not just meat. Any food that you decide to pay for, be sure that you trust the source to avoid the consequences. Sheila Nduhuchire, NTV, Bugolobi Market.
Thank you, Sheila. Now it is on this very subject that we engage you tonight as we ask you to share your views on food hygiene standards in public retail outlets. Now I'll take some of your comments so far. And we start with Violet Bwenje, who says most of these eating places lack the proper hygiene conditions. If one is to enjoy a meal in such places, you have to avoid peeping in their kitchens. Mulumba Joventine says the negligence is on the Uganda Bureau of Standards, which has unrealistically handled issues of standards and the goods that Ugandans depend on. Nelson Karake says hygiene standards are terrible. We survive at God's mercy. Health standards are not enforced by the respective authorities. Now I'll bring you some more of your comments at the tail end of tonight's newscast, so be sure to look out for that. Today, the 15th of August, the Roman Catholic Church celebrates the solemnity of the Assumption. It is believed that on this day, Mary, the mother of Jesus, after her earthly life, Mary, the mother of Jesus after her earthly life, was assumed into heaven with her body and soul. Multitudes of Christians gathered at Chiwamirembe Shrine at Kajansi off Entebbe Road to celebrate this day. And as they do, NTV looks at some of the myths the church has developed about the day over the years.
Parts of Kampala and its surrounding areas experienced a drizzle this morning. While some may consider the showers a normal weather occurrence, especially in the rainy August season, many Catholics in Uganda attach it to some religious phenomenon.
August is always a rainy month, but specifically on the 15th of August, like I have said above, it will most times rain.
Hundreds of Catholics today celebrated the Feast of the Assumption. A multitude of them made a pilgrimage to Chiwamirembe Mary's Shrine to commemorate this day that's hailed as sacred by Roman Catholics across the world.
The Catholic Church teaches as a dogma that on this day, Mary, the mother of Jesus,